President Goodluck Jonathan assures the international community of credible election in 2015 that will stand the test of time. Transformation agenda. Federal government approves the construction of 1,000 megawatts coal power plant in Enugu. And Senate approves the executive's request for $1 billion loan to tackle insecurity, just as the House of Representatives seeks to investigate ineffective population management. Hello, this is the network service of the NTA, reaching you live from our studios in Abuja. I'm Ibrahim Adra with the network news tonight. Thank you for joining us. Our President Goodluck Jonathan has assured the international community that the 2015 general elections will meet global best practices so as to further strengthen the country's democracy. The President gave the assurance at the separate meetings with the British Prime Minister David Cameron and the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. State House correspondent Segun Laole completes the story.
President Jonathan, during bilateral talks with David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, and the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, before leaving New York, reaffirmed his personal commitment to ensuring that elections in Nigeria under his watch remain freer and more credible. And in keeping with his administration's openness and transparency in the conduct of public affairs, President Jonathan said international observers will be allowed to freely monitor the 2015 elections. He expressed appreciation for the continuing support for Nigeria's effort to curb terrorism and violent extremism within its borders, saying that Nigeria welcomes Britain's assistance in the areas of intelligence sharing, anti-terrorism, training and defense logistics. President Jonathan later met with the Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO, Dr. Margaret Chan, appreciating the support of the WHO and the successes recorded to contain Ebola virus disease in the country, stressing that Nigeria will remain vigilant.
So the contact between Nigerians and the rest of the ECOWAS is quite high.
That's right.
So we can't go and sleep and say that we are finished with Ebola. No.
That's right.
We are still working there, and our borders, the number of people come, and we have free movement of goods and services within the economic the zone.
The president also gave his commitment to eradicating polio in spite of the security challenges in the northeastern region of the country. Dr. Chan used the meeting to acknowledge the exemplary leadership of President Jonathan on the successful efforts to contain the spread of Ebola virus disease.
Nigeria is truly an outstanding example to show people when the country leadership is there, things can be done. Without country leadership, things are very difficult.
We'd be telling your country, search, 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 and prove that it's gone. And keep that pressure on, because the danger always is taking the foot off the gas. And on polio, it's exactly the same thing. Search, 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 find this. Both of these will be done by the end of this year. No.
We're looking for teams from African nations who have experience of working with Ebola to come and help in the three most affected countries.
President Jonathan has since returned to Abuja. In the State House, Segun Laole, NTA News.
In a related development, President Jonathan's address at the 69th session of the United Nations General Assembly has been described as being capable of attracting more committed global attention to the issue of terrorism in Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large. Ambassador Joe Keshi, a former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, stated this while speaking on NTA program Good Morning Nigeria.
Well, I guess the world has realized that terrorism has become a global issue, and there was a need for a collective action, to arrest the situation, because it's distorting global peace and stability. And the sooner, everybody, gets up, rises up, to challenge these extremists, and roll back the extremism in the world, I think it's better for us all.
Ambassador Joe Keshi there speaking on Mr. President's speech at the United Nations. Back home, Vice President Mohamed Namadi Sambo has announced the approval by President Jonathan for the construction of 1,000 megawatts coal power plant in Enugu State as part of ongoing transformation in the power sector. The Vice President stated this to a large crowd of sympathizers at the Enugu State Grand Rally for the re-election of President Jonathan in 2015. Hamza Musa Makarfi reports.
The rally under the auspices of Enugu State Movement for the re-election of Jonathan at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium brought stakeholders across all societies strata. Grand patron of the movement and former Senate President Ken Nnamani to patrons former governors Jim Ngobodo, Okwesilize Nwodu and Prince Arthur Eze all took turns saying Enugu State will be delivered to President Jonathan in 2015. They said the Jonathan ticket with Vice President Mohamed Namadi Sambo is a winning team. Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State, whose ABGA party has thrown its support to President Jonathan at the 2015 election, promised that Anambra will not deviate. Minister of Power, Professor Chinedu Nebo, said President Jonathan has the support of Enugu State to continue with his people-oriented policy of transforming Nigeria. Governor Sullivan Chime said the Enugu rally for Jonathan is clear indication of total support and solidarity with his administration.
Since 2010, since the president came in, we owe it to the president. It is through our collaborative effort with him that we've been able to deliver in this state.
Vice President Namadi Sambo, flanked by key supporters of the rally on behalf of President Jonathan, appreciated what he described as massive support for the administration, promising that President Jonathan will not let the people down.
Although speakers upon speakers have said that when campaign period starts, there is no need for the president to come to Enugu, I agree with that. However, I would advise him to come personally to thank you and thank you and thank you.
The Vice President commended Governor Chime for transforming Enugu State. From Enugu, I am Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, while in Enugu, the Vice President commissioned a heliport for the Nigerian police constructed by the Enugu State government in support of securing the state. Again, here is Hamza Musa Makarfi with that details.
Amen.
The heliport is not only for the Nigeria police in Enugu State, but the state government said it is playing the big brother role as other formations within the southeastern part of Nigeria can benefit from the facility. Vice President Namadi Sambo said the partnership role by Enugu State government in building the heliport is role model for others to emulate. He said with steady development of aviation infrastructure in Enugu State, the vision of turning the state into a hub will soon come into effect.
With the commissioning today of this important facility, Your Excellency, your prayer has been heard and a helicopter will be immediately posted to Enugu to cover Enugu State and the southeastern state in general.
Governor Sullivan Chime said the heliport is a promise kept by his administration in assisting the police. The Police Affairs Minister Abdul Jalili Adeseyon described the project as welcome development and appreciated the government of Enugu State for its contribution to development of Nigeria. About 170.7 million naira was expended on the project. From Enugu, I am Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
To the National Assembly now, where the Senate has approved the request by President Goodluck Jonathan to secure an external loan of $1 billion to tackle security challenges in the country. This is in response to the urgent need to upgrade the equipment, training and logistics of the armed forces and other security services to confront the Boko Haram terrorist threat. National Assembly correspondent Adam Musambu has details.
The approval of the presidential request followed the recommendations of the Joint Senate Committees on Finance as well as local and foreign debt that scrutinized the terms and conditions of the external borrowing plan. The committee observed that the loan facility request is not in cash, but for the supply of 12 helicopters, ships, armaments, and other hardware equipment to be paid for over a period of 7 years.
In view of the urgent need to restore full normalcy in the country, the Joint Committee recommends that the Senate approve the external loan in kind of $1 billion to tackle the ongoing security challenges.
Those in favor, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Attempt by some senators, especially from the opposition party, to stop the approval of the request was resisted by the lawmakers from the ruling PDP.
I don't want a situation where we leave these chambers and the public will believe that one political party is supporting a fight against insurgents and another political party is not supporting it.
To me, this is a serious enough matter, and we should take it in that respect.
The Senate also adopted the report of the Joint Senate Committees on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, as well as Interior, on the Criminal Justice Bill 2014. The bill seeks to make it mandatory for prisons to send periodic returns on prison inmates to chief judicial officers towards ensuring that people who are unjustifiably incarcerated are released to decongest prisons. The lawmakers also approved the nomination of Justice Chima Sentus Nweze by the President for appointment as a Justice of the Supreme Court.
The judiciary plays a major role in stabilizing democracy. The independence of the judiciary is very, very important, and we hope that it will add value to the Supreme Court.
The report of the Senate Committee on Aviation on the screening of Captain Mukhtar Usman for appointment as Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, as well as the Conference Committee report on the National Health Bill 2014 were received. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In another report, Adamu Sambo is saying the Senate President David Mark has made a case for the international community to continue to show understanding about the difficulties Nigeria is facing on account of security challenges. Senator Mark, who received the German ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Mike Zenner, said terrorism and insurgency are global phenomena that require concerted action to tackle. Let's get the report now.
The Senate President described as disturbing the impression some countries have about Nigeria on account of prevailing security situation. The challenges, he said, are surmountable, and the federal government is doing everything within its power to restore normalcy in the land.
I would personally plead with you and through you to the EU countries is to understand some of the difficulties that we face in solving some of our internal crises. But once you exercise patience with us and you assist as much as you can, I'm sure that we'll be over this in no time.
Both Senator Mark and the German envoy promised improved socio-economic and parliamentary cooperation between Nigeria and Germany for the well-being of the two countries. The Senate President also received a delegation of the Federation of Agricultural Community and Association of Nigeria, where he promised that the federal government will continue to encourage non-oil products and export promotion to create employment opportunities.
I just want to assure you that the National Assembly will do whatever we can to encourage exports of non-oil products, improve the economy of the country.
The leader of the delegation, Dr. Victor Iyama, urged the National Assembly to work on the modalities of ascertaining the growth in the non-oil sector. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Adamu. We're still staying with the National Assembly. The House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Population and National Planning to investigate what it described as ineffective management of Nigeria's population and recommend strategies to address the situation. National Assembly correspondent Aisha Tuzango Abdullah reports on this, as well as other legislative engagements at the House of Representatives. We apologize for the poor audio on that report. Ahead on the news tonight, Acting Inspector General of Police talks tough. He says only people of impeccable character will be allowed to contest election in 2015. Details in a moment.
Transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
With excitement on the Airtel Android bundle. To activate, dial *437# for 2 GB at 2,000 Naira or *438# for 4.5 GB at 3,500 Naira. Come alive with the Airtel Android bundle.
These are the best breed of global leadership. After them stands in crowning glory a visionary and dynamic apostle of the gospel of their virtues. Like Martin Luther King and Nnamdi Azikiwe, he is gifted with the power of oratory.
Education must be free so that the children of the parents of the poor can go to school.
Like Obafemi Awolowo, he is the grand commander of free education. Like Ahmadu Bello, he is the symbol of unity.
We therefore, as Nigerians, cannot overlook the urgency of now to move this nation forward.
Like Nelson Mandela, he is the true emancipator of the people. Like Mother Teresa and Aminu Kano, he is a lover and true friend of the poor. Like Otumego Ojukwu, he is courage personified. And like Kwame Nkrumah, he is a detribalized Pan-Africanist.
Owele Rocha Sokaracha, save our generation. Even the children say so. To join this call, visit our website on Generation Rochers USA at www.generationrochers.com.
Federal Ministry of Works, in conjunction with the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, is assiduously driving the federal government transformation agenda in the roads sector. Several arterial federal roads have been constructed and rehabilitated, while many others are undergoing dualization, amongst which are Kano Maiduguri Road, Sokoto Tambuwal, Abuja Lokoja Benin Expressway, Vom Manchok, Loko Oweto Road, Benin Ore Shagamu Lagos Expressway, Lagos Ibadan Road, Ibadan Ilorin, Abakaliki Nkpo Ogoja Junction Road, Aba Owerri Road, Enugu Port Harcourt Dual Carriageway. It is strategically replacing damaged grid guardrails with reinforced concrete and new jersey rails, as well as illuminating critical sections of selected federal roads and bridges. And over 7,000 young men and women in the SURE-P FEMA Public Works Program, FEMA, is poised to ensure quicker, cheaper, and safer road transportation. Federal Ministry of Works and FEMA, moving Nigerians on good roads.
So, how far now? Don't you do so? Na promo. You step on become millionaire. You never hear say NAFDAC don't bring wetin they call mobile authentication service. We go help us know whether medicine na fake or not before we pay. Now come see. As I scratch this thing wey be like recharge card so, come send the pin to 38353 free of charge. I will call receive text message to confirm. Okay, original. So, just like that, we confirm whether medicine is fake or not instant. Now when you say no wise up, make you help not and spread the story. Now the way that. Madam, come and take your money.
Now, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, they bring on this message.
Everybody has heard it. The farmer in the bush, the worker in the office, the student in the classroom, the woman in the market, the trader in the store have had it. All has a 10 National Rally Train for the Northwest Zone has moved to Kano City for Saturday, 27 September 2014. Venue is Kano Polo Ground, Independence Road, Nasarawa Local Government Area, Kano State. And time 10 a.m. Are you from Kano State? Jigawa, Kebbi, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara? TAN National Rally 2014 at Kano is your best chance to say thank you to the man who has revived the dead railways, built many more dams to improve our agriculture, given enhancement to the lives of our children through the Almajiri education, free medical care for our pregnant women and children by Goodluck Jonathan, and good roads all over the place built by Goodluck Jonathan. Let's turn out a mass to say thank you to President Goodluck Jonathan for our job well done and to say we want more. Northwest love Goodluck.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sada Wakar III, cordially invites the general public to the turbaning ceremony of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Amin Waziri Tambol, CFR, as Mutawalan Sokoto. Special guest of honor, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Guest of honor, Muhammad Namadi Sambo, Vice President, Senate President, Distinguished Senator David Mark. Chief host, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, Alhaji Dr. Aliyu Magatakarda Wamoko, Sarkin Yam of Sokoto. Venue, Sultan's Palace, Sokoto. Date, Saturday, September 27, 2014. Time, 10 a.m. Announcer, Distinguished Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki, Turaki of Ilorin, Chairman, National Organizing Committee.
The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, says it is taking steps to ensure amicable resolution of the political impasse in Taraba State, expressing confidence in the leadership of the acting governor, Garba Umar. And this was during a visit by the acting governor to brief the PDP leadership on the situation in the state. Abdullahi Garba Birnin-Kudu reports.
The visit by the acting governor, Garba Umar, may not be unconnected with a panel set up by the State Assembly to ascertain the health status of Governor Nambaba Suntai. The acting governor assured the PDP leadership of his continued loyalty to the governor, hence the execution of various projects started by Governor Suntai. He said the panel by the Assembly has no political undertone.
I've heard people say the motive behind the setting up of the panel is to remove the governor. This is not true. It is merely intended to determine if I can hand over to him or not.
The PDP deputy chairman, who stood in for the national chairman, commended the acting governor for maintaining peace and consolidating the party in the state.
We want to continue to advise that the first and foremost thing is to maintain peace and order and good relationship with all the stakeholders in the states and the entire Taraba people.
In another development, a team from the United States State Department was at the PDP National Secretariat where issues bordering on 2015 general elections were discussed. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Birnin-Kudu, NTA News.
The Acting Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, says only people with impeccable character will have the opportunity to seek election in 2015. He stated this at a meeting with the Police High Command in Abuja. Bonaventure Ngudo has details.
The Inspector General of Police said the police will liaise with INEC and Department of State Security to conduct a background checks on aspiring politicians before the general election of 2015.
Candidates with criminal records are not allowed to contest. That is as regards to the screening.
Describing the Goza incident as highly regrettable, the police boss said all necessary steps are being taken to ensure that similar action does not occur again.
We are still making efforts to locate some of our colleagues that were missing after the attack. What is promising is that even early this week, on Monday, we received information that one of them has surfaced.
IGP Suleiman Abba said effective policing can be achieved faster with active participation of the people. In Abuja, Bonaventure Wood, NTA News.
Following the People's Democratic Party's adoption of President Goodluck Jonathan as its sole candidate for the 2015 presidential election, the Goodluck Initiative for Transformation, GIFT 2015, has called on other political parties to do same to sustain good governance. Correspondent Isaac Onkuma was at a press briefing by the group and now reports.
It is the first time in the nation's political history that a political party has unanimously adopted an incumbent to vie for the presidential seat in the next election. For the Goodluck Initiative for Transformation, it is a demonstration of a matured democracy. They are optimistic that if other political parties would endorse President Jonathan's candidature for 2015 presidential election, the war against sectionalism and religious difference will be won.
3 political parties already have reached out to us, and they are going to come out and openly declare for the candidacy of President Goodluck Jonathan. We believe that if the president is doing well, we must support the president. This call is to every political party in Nigeria.
They are of the opinion that a sole candidate would discourage the usual huge resources expended during party primaries and other selection processes, noting that such monies can be channeled to other developmental projects for Nigerians. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Still talking politics, former head of state General Muhammadu Buhari says the essence of leadership is service to the people and not to enrich oneself. He was speaking in Sokoto at the distribution of 230 ambulances purchased by the state government for primary health centers in the state. Jabi Dabore filed this report.
The 230 ambulances are procured for the 225 primary health centers built in all the wards across the state. The idea is to take healthcare services to the doorsteps of the common man. Commissioning the vehicles, former head of state General Muhammadu Buhari described health sector as very crucial to the socio-economic well-being of any society. He gave Governor Wamoko a pass mark for the initiative, which he described as the right step in the right direction.
What we have seen yesterday in terms of infrastructure and then the organizational support to sustain that infrastructure really comes out from a very clear and sound mind.
Governor Aliyu Magatka Wamoko said a committee of retired civil servants has been set up by government to look after the primary health facilities to ensure that they are fully functional.
We are doing all this and much more because of our commitment to the health of our people.
Also commissioned by the former head of state was the Ballet General Hospital in Gudu local government area. General Muhammadu Buhari also commissioned the Wamoko Orthopedic Hospital, Governor's Lodge in Gudu, as well as some township roads. He also paid a courtesy visit on the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III.
And the Federal Character Commission is re-strengthening its synergy with media organizations in ensuring that merit and the national integration remain the basis for recruitment in Nigeria. The Commission has commenced this new relationship by organizing a one-day sensitization workshop for media executives in Abuja. Ignatius Onkwo reports.
Manager of NTA News, Femi Ibrahim, who represented the Director General of NTA, noted that the role of the Federal Character Commission is very critical to the nation's development as it is at the center of the distribution of material and natural resources.
We, on our part, we pledge to support in whatever form within the ambit of our own operations to support the Federal Character Commission in finding appropriate ways of resolving the conflict of distribution and identity.
The Voice of Nigeria try within its means to abide by the principle of the federal character in all its recruitment.
The workshop is also expected to equip the media practitioners on the mandate and workings of the Federal Character Commission. In Abuja, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, members of the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria, who are also owners of Nigeria's second national carrier, the Media Transmission Services, have been challenged to take their destiny in their hands with the migration from analog to digital next year. The Director General of National Broadcasting Commission gave the advice at the organization's Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Musa has details.
Assembly, which is being attended by executive officers of federal, state and privately owned media organization, is fine-tuning a way forward for better and efficient service delivery for the digitization era. Director General, National Broadcasting Commission commends the broadcasters in their efforts and professionalism in the fight against Ebola virus in the country and advises them to carry on in that direction.
The only way digitization will work is if two things happen. If we bring broadcasters back into the driving seat or as co-drivers of this whole process. And the second thing is that we also address the issue of content.
He says his commission will provide all levels of engagement by promoting investment and innovation in the digital development.
And that we shall be collectively guided by wisdom, by experience.
I urge all of us to please be dogged. Let us do what is necessary.
We'll be able to say that this is the structure we are putting forward, this is how we want to fund our company, and this is how we want to meet the conditionalities of the National Broadcasting Commission.
Earlier, the chairman congratulated members as he explains the long, competitive and rigorous procedure the body went through to acquiring the license to become the country's second national carrier. Musa, NTA News.
Let's now go back to that report by Aisha Tuzango Abdullahi on the House of Representatives mandating its Committee on Population and National Planning to investigate what it described as ineffective management of Nigeria's population and recommended strategies to address the situation. Let's get the details now.
Effective moved by Benila and members to address issues of education, disease.
We still haven't gotten that report right. We apologize, and we're moving now. The coordinator, National Briefing Center, Mike Omeri, has confirmed that one of the kidnapped Chibok girls has been found by the police in Maraba Mubi in Adamawa State. He made this known at a news briefing at the headquarters of the National Orientation Agency. Correspondent Muhammad Abdul Kadir reports.
The laying down of arms by some members of Boko Haram in deference to the superior firepower of the Nigerian troops, a new fissure of hope of defeating terrorism in Nigeria is imminently opened. Perhaps the contending question begging for an answer is what to do with 135 Boko Haram fighters who surrendered in Konduga, Borno State. Providing a clue on the way forward, Coordinator National Briefing Center Mike Omeri says a de-radicalization process has been put in place to reabsorb them back to the society.
The government of Nigeria has put in place a number of strategies to ensure that those insurgents that are turning themselves in undergo a process of de-radicalization and rehabilitation so that they can, be admitted into the society.
Director General said the fight against insurgency in Nigeria is receiving global attention.
And specific countries are providing effective collaboration towards ending the fight against insurgency.
On the 35 captured police officers in Gosa Police Training School, he said there is no clue yet, while the remaining Chibok girls, Mike Omeri said the federal government is unrelenting to fish them out. The Director General, National Orientation Agency, Mike Omeri, commended the gallantry of the Nigerian troops and called for more support on the parts of Nigerians towards winning the current fight against insurgency. From the National Briefing Center, Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Kadir, NTA News.
We now turn to the Center of Excellence, where Vera is set to tell us about the joint military operation against smuggling. Vera, thank you for joining us and good evening.
Good evening and welcome to Lagos. A combined team of the Nigerian Customs Service, the Army and the Navy has successfully dislodged a smuggling syndicate from the Beso Creek near Agbara Estate in Ogun State. Over 10,000 bags of smuggled rice have so far been impounded, among other items. The Beso Creek is a notorious route for smuggling of contraband from the high seas to different parts of the country. The report.
There was no denying the fact that a fierce battle must have gone down at the Beson Creek. This operational vehicle of the Customs Service is evidence of the war.
When the officers arrived, the first thing they encountered was fire from these bushes we are seeing around. So they had to run down and start firing back. The extent of our firing power overpowered them, so they had no option than to abandon the rise and run into the bush.
The Controller of Customs Federal Operations Unit Zone A Ikeja, Turaki Usman, took journalists to the 2 warehouses loaded with over 10,000 bags of smuggled rice into the country. Also on ground were 9 engine boats used by the smugglers to carry out their activities.
No matter how long it takes, we continue using our intelligence. We continue using the eagle eye. The moment we sight on them, we'll strike. Therefore, they continue perpetrating their illegal business. We continue pursuing them.
Though no arrest was made, the Federal Operations Unit Zone A Controller says the command within the axis are regularly being empowered with materials and vehicles to tackle smugglers around the land boundaries and the creeks.
Transcorp Hotels, in collaboration with Transnational Corporation of Nigeria PLC, are offering the public 800 million naira ordinary shares of 50 kobo each at 10 naira per share. This was made known by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Transcorp Hotel PLC, Valentine Ozibu, at the Nigerian Stock Exchange House in Lagos. Olajide Bello has the details.
Speaking on the facts behind the offer, the Managing Director, Transcorp Hotel PLC, Valentine Ozibu, said the offer is a way of making their numerous customers have a stake in the company.
It's a hotel that when you walk in, you're not just a guest anymore, you're an owner guest, and that is impactful.
He said the total proceeds, which is expected to be about 8 billion naira, is to be expended on new projects in Lagos and Port Harcourt.
The intention is to use this to develop new hospitality projects, one in Lagos and one in Port Harcourt.
Transcorp Chief Executive Officer added that a discounted cash flow and price earning ratio, among others, were considered before arriving at the 10 naira ordinary shares of 50 kobo. The MD CEO also spoke on what the project portends for Lagos and Port Harcourt.
Hospitality is a job spinner, and if we add these 2 new hotels, that will be instant job opportunity for a lot of people.
Emmanuel Norum is the president and CEO of Transnational Corporation of Nigeria PLC.
This will certainly improve our resources, our revenues from a projected revenue of 16 billion presently. In 3 years' time, we're looking at about 50 billion.
The 800 million ordinary shares of 50 kobo each at 10 naira offer will last till 17th of October 2014. In Lagos, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Those that seek to divide Nigeria, to take us back to another time. But the future belongs to all Nigerians, and we are building that future together. Improving education at every level and in every region. The roads that bring commerce, the energy supply to power our economy, and safer water for our villages and families. The infrastructure to support and grow an advanced society. But building the largest economy in all of Africa is not enough. The mission now is to lift every Nigerian up together. So to those that want to divide us, we say the future belongs to all Nigerians. We can't go back. Good luck, Jonathan. One Nigeria, moving forward together.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be healthy, well-fed, and patriotic. To use Rijiko in all my cooking. And to patronize made in Nigeria products for better health and economy. Thank you, Rijiko. Now I can get my husband and son running home to eat every day.
Yes, Rijiko tomato paste adds flavor and life to your meals. Fresh from the farm, specially packaged for your healthy feeding. Rijiko tomato paste, food for love. Produced in Nigeria by Erisco Foods Limited, a subsidiary of Erisco Bumpet Group.
Vitamilk Energy,
loaded with natural multigrains, nutritiously energizes your body and strengthens your muscles. Vitamilk Energy for strong muscle and powerful energy.
For the sweetest scent, for the highest flight, for the fastest drive. Form follows function. The world's first curved OLED TV. Picture perfect. It's all possible. LG OLED TV.
Auntie! Hello, my dear. I see you went shopping with your mom, right? And what did you buy?
Power oil. It has 0 cholesterol and 0 trans fats. And contains vitamin A and natural vitamin E. It's a healthy oil for healthy family.
I'll buy Power next time I go shopping, huh?
Power oil, healthy for you.
Introducing the great tasting new Mini-Me Chin Chin. Rich in yummy ingredients like milk, butter, and wheat.
Mini-Me, crunchy. Mini-Me, tasty.
Playful, cheerful, joyful, very big. Break the boredom with the unique taste of Mini-Me Chin Chin.
Bragging is not President Goodluck Jonathan's style, so you'd hardly hear him brag about all the great things he is doing for Nigeria. He wouldn't tell you he's the first president to privatize power, to give us a constant supply of electricity and economic prosperity. Soon your electricity will be like your mobile phones, 24 hours, 7 days a week. He won't brag about security, new roads, new rail, or new airports, eliminating corruption in agriculture and saving $25 billion per year, mass housing projects, or that our economy is growing at the fastest rate in the world. He wouldn't brag about any of it because he knows there's a lot more to be done. Mr. President, right on. We that are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Thank you for staying with us. The federal government has declared Wednesday, 1st October as public holiday to celebrate the 54th independence anniversary of Nigeria. In a statement, Minister of Interior, Comrade Abba Moro, congratulated all Nigerians on the occasion and urged them to continue to build a more united nation. The minister enjoined Nigerians to use the period to reflect on the achievements of the nation, especially under the transformation leadership of President Goodluck Jonathan. A group of law and property experts has called on the federal government to simplify the processes through which individuals and organizations can access mortgage for Nigeria to catch up with its housing needs. The call was made in Abuja at a round table on property and housing rights in Nigeria. Femi Okewo reports.
Those are protests held in court premises following a series of litigations on the demolition of houses in the Federal Capital Territory. This is part of the effect of an uncoordinated mortgage and housing system, a trend which the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies addressed at the roundtable in Abuja. With title Property and Housing Rights in Nigeria, participants examined the new social housing bill and the right to housing. They also evaluated rural-urban migration and its effect on the Nigerian housing policy.
We still need to address a number of things. Collaterals, for instance. How do you prove title to land?
Biodun Owonikoko in his paper, The Legal Challenges of Financing House Ownership in Nigeria, called for collaboration between private mortgage and finance organizations and government.
So they can easily, with this fund, give anybody a loan that will give a maturity of about 25, 30 years. And you don't know how this is going to affect the economy.
Findings from the roundtable are to be passed on for possible legislation which will help government in implementation. In Abuja, Femi Okewo, NTA News.
The introduction of electronic payment system in Nigerian economy has led to reduction in card-related fraud by over 90%. The Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, revealed this at the 8th Annual Banking and Finance Conference in Abuja. Correspondent Amina Nujaim has the rest of the story.
of bankers and financial experts will deliberate for 2 days on means of addressing challenges to further promote implementation of the country's cashless policy.
That its outcome will surely boost public confidence towards massive adoption of electronic payments in Nigeria.
President and Chairman Chartered Institute of Bankers in Nigeria, Debola Oshibogun, says the place of financial institutions is key in the implementation of strong domestic transactions and enhancing integration of foreign markets.
We play significant roles in articulating global perspectives and best practices for players in the financial services industry.
With the anticipated growth of e-commerce, the Minister of Communications stressed the need to build capacity in ICT.
And what is really going to drive this industry is the capacity for the low-income Nigerians to make payments on this infrastructure at little or no cost.
Organized by the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, has in the past been a platform for the formulation and implementation of economic policies that have positively impacted the Nigerian economy. In Abuja, Amina Nujaim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) has licensed 24 mobile money operators to ease financial transactions in the country. The Managing Director NDIC, Umar Ibrahim, said this while briefing newsmen on the 25th anniversary of the corporation. Details with Leah Katumba-Batunde.
Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) in its 25th operating year has continued to guarantee stability in the banking sector. Presenting the scorecard of the corporation to members of the media, the Managing Director Umar Ibrahim said the NDIC has developed frameworks for risk-based supervision, early warning signals for distressed banks, measurement of systemically important banks and technical assistance for financial institutions with a view to enhancing their performance. In addition, mobile money services have been introduced to the banking sector.
Mobile banking has, since its introduction in a couple of years ago, has recorded tremendous success in Nigeria.
The NDIC has been on a rebranding drive to fine-tune its services. The act establishing it is before the National Assembly for amendment. However, the organization is facing problems with depositors coming forward to claim their funds from distressed banks, and public awareness is still low, though it has grown from about 25% in 2012 to 40% in 2013.
Whereby people take licenses to establish microfinance banks or PNBs, and they remain in their drawers.
Sure that we reduce premium burden on banks, and also to make sure that we have the deposit insurance is fairly priced.
The NDIC management also disclosed that it has been able to reduce premium base rate for deposit money banks to 0.4% and has opened a 24-hour toll-free line to enable customers receive immediate response to inquiries. In Abuja, Leah Katumba-Batunde, NTA News.
Many thanks, Leah. Building institutional capacities as pathway to good governance, the importance of legal and regulatory framework was one of the issues discussed at this year's annual National Management Conference of the Nigerian Institute of Management held in Warri, Delta State. Ngozi Ogbonna reports.
The conference also dwelt on other salient issues in governance and management to aid in making the nation one of the top 20 economies by the year 2020.
It's a multifaceted lecture. What role law can play in ensuring good governance.
President Goodluck Jonathan was represented by the head of civil service of the Federation, Dr. Danladi Kifasin.
By choosing this theme as the focus of this year's conference, the Institute has further demonstrated that it is always committed to supporting the federal government in achieving its drive to reposition and turn around the nation's economy.
For the Delta State Governor, successful nations strive when their institutions work efficiently and effectively.
To us as a state, we find it.
And we go to Adamawa State now, where 600,000 registered farmers are to benefit from the Growth Enhancement Scheme fertilizer distribution at the second phase of the program. The second phase of the program, which was flag off, attracted beneficiaries from Mayoine, Yadim, Ukituki and Karalali of Furore local government. Correspondent Bilkisu Abubakar reports.
The Growth Enhancement Scheme fertilizer distribution designed between the federal and state governments to ease the suffering of farmers in obtaining fertilizer and boost agricultural development in line with the transformation agenda. Under the program, the states and federal governments gave out 25% contribution each, while the beneficiaries are expected to pay 50%. Each bag is sold at the cost of 2,700 naira, and every farmer is entitled to 2 bags for NPK and urea. Declaring the program open, the State Commissioner of Agriculture, John Elias, said the federal government approved 60,000 metric tons of fertilizer to farmers in the state with a view to enhance rice and maize production.
Adamawa State is predominantly farmer state, and it is agro-based. I believe with this development, farmers will benefit and also improve.
The State Director, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Walia Haman, who stood in for the Minister of Agriculture, said the program no doubt play an important role in solving the problem of farmers, which translates to excess production. The State Chairman of Agro Dealers Association, Alhaji Suman Bapulo, explained that 45 centers were earmarked for the sale of the fertilizer in the state and promised to take their job with all seriousness. Some of the beneficiaries expressed gratitude to both the federal and state governments for the gesture. In Yola, Bilkis Abubakar, NTA News.
The Global Program on Migration and Development of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation and the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons have signed an agreement to support the Commission in institutionalizing the National Migration Dialogue as a platform for effective and inclusive migration dialogue in Nigeria. The agreement, which is being developed within the broader remit of the migration partnership between Nigeria and Switzerland, will further strengthen the cooperation between the two countries in the area of migration and development. Nigeria has a national migration policy to coordinate and provide a common approach for implementing migration-related programs, which is geared towards a technical working group comprising both governmental and non-governmental actors. Sports and global tidbits are next after this time out.
The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party wishes to invite members of the National Executive Committee, members of Board of Trustees, leaders and members of the National Assembly, all PDP state governors, stakeholders and members of the party in the South-South to the South-South Sensitization Unity Rally as follows. Date: Saturday, September 27, 2014. Venue: Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City, Edo State. Time: 12 p.m. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Guest of honor, Amadu Adamu Muazu, CON, National Chairman, PDP. PDP, power to the people. Olisemetu, National Publicity Secretary, Announcer.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Are you a Nigerian woman aged between 18 to 25? Do you have a valid international passport, birth certificate, or voter's card? Do you think you have the qualities to be Nigeria's next true beauty queen? Come participate in Queen Nigeria Beauty Pageant 2014. Application forms are available at www.queennigeria.org for 5,000 naira only. Apply now and stand a chance of winning 1.5 million naira cash, a chance to represent Nigeria at major international events, brand new car, 1-year modeling contract, and ambassadorial role, amongst other fantastic opportunities. activities. Entry closes 20th October 2014. Venue, Lagos Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos. Date, 6th December 2014. Queen Nigeria is about beauty, brains, cultural values, and elegance. For sponsorship and more details, log on to www.queennigeria.org or call these numbers. Queen Nigeria 2014 is powered by NTA, TV Enterprise, and Famford Enterprise Limited. Queen Nigeria 2014, beyond beauty.
Bragging is not President Goodluck Jonathan's style, so you'd hardly hear him brag about all the great things he is doing for Nigeria. He wouldn't tell you he's the first president to privatize power, to give us a constant supply of electricity and economic prosperity. Soon your electricity will be like your mobile phones, 24 hours, 7 days a week. He won't brag about security, new roads, new rail, or new airports, eliminating corruption in agriculture and saving $25 billion per year, mass housing projects, or that our economy is growing at the fastest rate in the world. He wouldn't brag about any of it because he knows there's a lot more to be done. Mr. President, right on. We that are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Liberia signs transformational deal to stem deforestation, and Afghanistan presidential election runner-up allays fears of unrest, promising cooperation. These and more on Global Tidbits with Talatu Ezirike.
Liberia has entered trees for cash deal with Norway that is designed for African countries to stop cutting down trees in return for development aid. Under the agreement, Liberia is to receive $150 million to stop deforestation by 2020. Still in Africa, Sierra Leone widens Ebola quarantine to more districts and also includes another 1 million people in an effort to curb the spread of the Ebola disease. In the United States, a consultative group on international agricultural research champions a conference in New York to revamp farming system around the globe, especially in developing countries. And from Afghanistan, the runner-up in the country's disputed election, Abdullah, has congratulated his rival, Ashraf Ghani, on becoming president with promise to support him. That is all on Global Tidbits. Talatu Ezirike, NTA News.
And for stories from the world of sports, here is Fisayo Ogunfui.
Chairman National Sports Commission Tammy Danagogo has inspected facilities at the National Stadium Abuja to evaluate its readiness to host international competitions. Danagogo was conducted around the sporting edifice by the Director of Stadium Facilities, Shehu Ibrahim, inspected the main pitch with its sprinklers fitted, the main bowl seats, the press gallery, VIP area, commentary positions, the changing rooms, as well as toilet facilities available. The minister, who also visited the practice pitches outside the main bowl, said his ministry intends to regrass 2 additional training pitches to bring the stadium to a standard where 1 pitch will be reserved for the national team, another for the visiting teams, and a 3rd for general use. The Nigerian Football Federation has expressed its happiness over modalities put in place for the successful organization of the 2nd edition of Nigeria's Football Awards, tagged the Pitch Awards. Matchmakers Consult, organizers of the event, say this year's edition, which is to be held in Lagos, will be an improvement on the maiden event held in Calabar, Cross River State. The event coordinators have reached partnership agreements with NTA Sports and an auditing firm, CIO, to make the nation's biggest football award ceremony a truly memorable occasion. Just hours to the much-anticipated 2014 Ryder Cup, the Gladiators are still engaging in verbal spats. Phil Mickelson of the U.S. has hit back at the
Eastern Nigeria. Justice Carlo Okwananya is dead. Justice Anya, who was sworn in as High Court judge in 1966, died at the age of 93. He also served as Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Benin and Abia State University. He is survived by a wife, Mrs. Margaret Anya, and children. And that concludes Network News tonight, except for this message. Remember, it's your right to challenge anyone suspected to be involved in unwholesome activities around you. Be security conscious. A message from the Directorate of State Security. My name is Ibrahim Adra. Thank you for watching Network News tonight. Stay blessed.